Now in its 6th edition, the YISUNSIN International Yacht Race is an example of a sailing event that has been going from strength to strength. In 2012, the race has seen more participants visiting friendly Korea than ever before. Not only the best teams from the host nation, but also the great teams from Russia, Japan, and many other countries from all over the world have gathered in the beautiful city of Tongyeong in Southeast Korea. Here in the exceptionally organized port, the international regatta will mostly unfold. Tongyeong means command post, and the name already hints the city's rich naval history. For a start, the principal base of Admiral YISUNSIN was located on nearby Hansen Island. Admiral Yi was a famous Korean naval commander, known for his victories against the Japanese Navy in the Imajin War during the rule of the Joseon dynasty. The admiral's name is synonymous with great Navy strategy and his extraordinary abilities as a military leader, but also his conduct off the battlefield was well respected, not only by Koreans, but by his Japanese adversaries too. With the name of the race now explained, it's time to turn to and meet some of this year's protagonists. We begin with the exceptional crews competing in the ORC-1 class. From Russia, we have the boat First, skippered by Alexander Trofimenko. But everyone on board First is very skilled and experienced. They are here, as many others, to get the very best result for their country. Win this race if they can. Then there's 6th YISUNSIN, the Korean boat that won the race last year in the Open 1 class. 6th YISUNSIN is designed for speed and agility. This is a boat fully prepared for aggressive racing and for some tough battles ahead. Especially this year, defending their title with everyone's attention focused on them. The skipper's name is Kim Jung-chul. Russia is well represented here in Tongyeong. Megazip is another of its well-crafted boats that have descended on Southeast Korea, seeking to write new magnificent pages in Russian sailing history. Megazip's skipper is Andriy Konstantin. His boat is really fast, and it's certainly expected to be among the top performers here at the YISUNSIN International Yacht Race. But there are yet more fine competitors from Russia joining the race. Time Machine is another boat to watch out for. Mikhail Ermakov is the one who skippers this very fast yacht, and Time Machine can certainly be the equal of Korea's 6th YISUNSIN. His crew is hungry for victory too. ORC-2 also features some exciting boats, such as Bambino. The YISUNSIN International Yacht Race includes several different types of boats, and among the ones competing here are members from the One Design Class J24. A solid fleet of 12 have gathered here in Tongyeong, and their racing is certainly not to be missed. The battles in this class are often very close. The final results often hinge on minor details. Today, spectators and athletes alike were eager for the start of the YISUNSIN International Yacht Race. The Marine Sports Center in the beautiful city of Tongyeong hosts this event for the past few years, always with great success. It's not surprising then that more and more sailors visit Korea every year to compete in this exciting race. For the 2012 edition of this event, participants have exceeded 100. Competitors are then divided in 5 categories according to boat type too.
This is the 6th YISUNSIN Cup race. It's an international yacht race, divided into 3 classes: Open class, ORC class, and J24 class. Tomorrow we'll have 2 short races inshore, and Sunday we'll have the long race, offshore race around Sojil Island. And it's a great race and a lot of fun. A lot of people from different countries: Japan, Korea, New Zealand, other Americans. was great. So everybody, please have a great time.
So, while athletes pushed on with their preparations for this event, the University of Tungyang organized a port race for its students. The people gathered here to watch the event were treated to the sight of colorful sails filling the harbor before the main event began. Many of the competitors also took their eyes off their checklist to see how these students, some of them probably future champions, were doing. The competition would unfold in 2 laps on a windward-leeward course. The weather conditions today? Pretty light winds are expected, so let's see how the sailors will respond to them. Already, Choi Yin-suk was taking advantage of her light weight, being naturally very fast in these conditions. In the end, she managed to win both races and without her opponents giving her too much trouble. At the while, sailors of the regatta continued with their preparations, and many of them actually took the opportunity to sail in the Gulf of Tungyang in order to trim their sails, have an all-important last-minute check of their equipment before the race gets underway tomorrow. Also from Russia, Gastion and First, who arranged some close speed testing in order to prepare their sails and optimize their performance. Other teams like Banpo from Korea and No Applause, again from Russia, did the same. At this level of competition, it is always crucial to evaluate early enough the possible wind changes as well as the special conditions occurring in the waters the race is taking place. So, these athletes, after sailing upwind, they hoisted their spinnakers before continuing downwind. Of course, sailing with spinnakers in such conditions requires extraordinary precision and the highest skills in steering the boat. Later in the afternoon, it was time for the opening ceremony. There, the local community and its representatives, alongside the organizers for this event, warmly welcomed the competitors. An entertaining evening complete with various performances and traditional Korean music followed, all that's needed before tomorrow's important races. So, there's more to come here in Korea. Welcome back to Tungyang. It's really sunny here in Korea, and athletes are anxious to get started with the 2 races of the day, scheduled for 10:30 local time. The organizers' idea of a local band playing traditional music before proceedings got underway was an excellent one. It does not just remind all of the region's rich culture, it also lifts everyone's spirits. Minutes before the races, all crews were focusing on the preparations of their boats. In a regatta like this, where there is no discard, any mistake can prove catastrophic. With about a half-hour's delay, the ORC Clubs 1 and 2 are the first to start together. 6th YISUNSIN, a Korean boat, was off to a great start at the center of the line. First and Megazip, both from Russia, started on leeward and headed to the left side of the course. They were followed by Banpo and Kiswell, 2 boats from Korea. Following the ORC clubs, it was time for the Open 1 and 2, as well as the J24 groups to start with their races, one after the other. The sight of so many colorful sails filling the Bay of Tungyang is a beautiful, overwhelming sight. Soon, after the boats completed the rounding of the windward mark, they headed downwind towards the finish line. 6th YISUNSIN was still ahead of the others at this point, with the rest of the fleet having some fierce battles. They all tried to sail the shifts, and this was not easy at all. Korea's Red Queen and Diva boats were also battling it out over victory. Of course, the smaller and consequently lighter boats have the advantage in weather conditions such as these, since it's easier for them to reach maximum speed more quickly compared to the larger boats. It wasn't too long before the start of the second race was given, with the classes proceeding to race in the same order as before. This time in the ORC Club category, the fights were even more intense, with Time Machine and No Applause, both from Russia, really not letting go of each other. Things here were getting really close. Here, it's obvious how Time Machine attempts to take advantage of a left wind shift and put a few meters of precious distance between it and No Applause. Yet in the next shift, No Applause appeared to take back control of the situation and kept ahead of Time Machine. But let's hear a few words from the skipper and the trimmer of the boat about today's race.
Today, first day of the races, we facing a little bit like 3 times shorter distance than expected because of slow winds, and it was, you know, tricky and shifty on the way. And first race we did practically well. I think it's after recalculations and all this you know, ORC club stuff, we probably will be 3 or 4.
We are going not bad today, so the first race was very good and the second one was very tricky, but we found the way to come back, but not so okay. But we are trying to do our best, so we are expected to setting the better tomorrow morning.
Finally, a look at the results at the end of this day in Tungyang. In the ORC Club 1, it was a Russian deal with Time Machine that came first. ORC Club 2, Bambino scored 2 bullets and is on the lead in front of Poseidon in second. In the Open Class 1, the first spot today belonged to Foundation from Korea. In Open Class 2, it was the Korean Patience that had the best performance, while in the J24, it was the Boomerang boat from Japan that finished first. For tomorrow, one long distance race is scheduled. Welcome back to Korea, where we returned for one last day to Tungyang for the 6th YISUNSIN International Yacht Race. It has been an eventful 2 days here so far, full of high competition and memorable sailing moments. Only one race is scheduled for today. Sailors got to their boats early and got started with their preparations. Nothing can be left to mere luck. As the race got underway, there was actually hardly any wind. In these adverse conditions, the best thing the boats could do is hoist their spinnakers. But this was hardly any help with such light wind. The spinnakers could barely hold their shape. At this point, the sea was so calm it looked like a mirror. On the part of the sailors, this means all moving on the boat is limited and considered. Any wrong adjustments in this respect could disturb what little momentum there is, meaning that the boat comes to a total standstill. So absolute care must be taken to avoid this. At least this situation allows sailors to take in the magical landscape as they moved slowly past the small islets spread across the Gulf of Tungyang. The flora is plentiful and gorgeous on these islands. Sometimes the green and small trees and bushes reach all the way down the rocks and meets the water. At the same time, sailors were struggling to reduce the distance between them and the Oguk Island. But all this effort did not dampen their spirits. They are here to compete and enjoy themselves while doing so. The race must go on. And all sailors taking part did all they could to keep going, showing tremendous purpose. Some boats had managed by now to put some distance between them and the rest of the fleet. And so they were the first to enter an area where the wind was stronger. Among those now sailing upwind were Time Machine and 6th YISUNSIN. These sailors bear in mind that the key to handling such difficult weather conditions when racing is to maintain their speed at all costs. The first boat to reach Oguk was 6th YISUNSIN. The conditions around the boat were still extremely light. Time Machine and First were the next boats that got there. This time the two were very close to each other. Megazip, on the other hand, kept to a course further away from the island. 6th YISUNSIN finally managed to get at the southern tip of the island. Now these guys on board were giving it their all in order to manage more speed for their boat. Further back, Megazip worked up some magic, and they now managed to catch up with Time Machine. In the end, the two boats crossed the finish line with less than a boat length separating them.
Very difficult because no wind. I cannot find any wind, so I cannot make it a tactic, so very hard.
Very good weather, good sign, shine, but no wind, because only 400 for 4 hours it is time of race, and no yachts have finished. Many 1-2 minutes from finish, but control time is finished because it is race no have result.
Finally, a look at the overall winners at the end of this day in Tungyang. In the ORC Club 1, it was Time Machine from Russia that came first, while in Club 2, victory belonged to Japan's Bambino. In the open class, the first spot today for the first group was taken by Team Hamaru from Korea. In the second group, the race was won by Patience from Korea, while in the J24, it was the Boomerang boat from Japan that finished first. After the end of the race, it was time for the trophies and prize money to be awarded in a unique closing ceremony, like only the Koreans can be trusted to organize. Bands playing traditional music were there, and this time, the truly spectacular fireworks on display brought glamour and light to the close of such a successful event. Until next year then, thank you all for watching.